I was gonna show you my cross. Yeah, I took that community meetings. That's why I heard everybody had them. Yeah, hopefully the. I'm hoping this will work. Did you scroll through, scroll slowly? I'm just interested. Well, yeah, I mean, but they don't.
Good evening. I'd like to call the City of West Bend Plan Commission for Tuesday, September 11th, 2018 to order and recognize that we do have a quorum this evening. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 1 this evening is approval of the minutes from the regular Plan Commission meeting of August 7th, 2018.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any questions, comments, or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 4A, under Development Proposals and 2020 Comprehensive Plan, public hearing at 6 o'clock p.m., is a public hearing for the consideration to amend the 2020 Comprehensive Plan for the City of West Bend for a change in the recommended land use for 74-plus acres of land located at the southeast corner of West Washington Street and County Highway Z from commercial, open space, and two-family residential land uses to commercial and open space land uses by the City of West Bend, Department of Development. The applicant is City of West Bend Department of Development, and we have a presentation tonight by Business and Development Planner Jim Reinke. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, everyone. The request tonight for the land use change, back in August of this year, the commission reviewed the request to set the public hearing for the land use change to essentially modify the land use for the commercial, two-family, and open space areas in this to help facilitate the development of this property for that commercial land use. The lands were originally annexed to the city back in 2001 and 2004. At the time, we placed temporary B1 zoning on there for that proposed development. Staff is requesting, along with the developer, to amend this comprehensive plan to modify the commercial areas, along with removing the two-family use for this, to facilitate the development of the future fleet farm for this property. We've also updated the open space along the west edge and the east edge, basically increasing that open space, and then modifying the new wetland areas on that site. Staff has published public notices in the paper, placed it at the library and at City Hall. We notified property owners within 200 feet. We've also notified and sent this over to the town for their review in accordance with the boundary agreement. This proposal is, for the most part, consistent with this and actually increases the open space areas up in this, for this development. Staff, again, mentioned that we related to the town staff, and we have not received any comments or concerns regarding the proposal from the town. So we would recommend that the comprehensive plan be amended and that the Plan Commission passes a resolution acknowledging this change.
Thank you, Jim. This is a public hearing. If anyone from the audience is interested in speaking to the item, please feel free to step up to the mic and let us know who you are.
Move the public hearing be, whoops, I rescind that.
Hi, name is Tim Gill. I live on Highway Z. I was told that there's possibly an access to Highway Z from, for the new store. Is that gonna happen, or is it all going out to 33?
I think we'll be addressing that at the next couple of items, unless you'll be able to see some maps up on the screen in like 2 or 3 items from now.
Okay.
Unless you want to quickly answer that. I don't know if it's a yes or no.
Sure, we can quickly answer that. Right now, the proposal does not have any access to County Trunk Highway Z. It's all from Washington Street.
Okay. I was told that the DOT or something had some input on it, that they wanted some access to Highway Z. That's what I was told. Didn't know.
Yeah, right now, we don't have any confirmation on that. Right now, their proposal is from Washington Street, and we're waiting for a traffic impact analysis to, confirm this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Move the public hearing be closed.
Motion has been made and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? That motion carries, and I'll take action on the item at hand.
I'll move to approve the resolution as presented.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any questions or comments from the commission? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? That motion carries. Again, under item 4, development proposals, is item 4B1, a zoning amendment public hearing at 6:01 PM, which is ZA-18-006, a public hearing for the consideration to permanently zone approximately 74 acres of land located on the southeast corner of County Highway Z and West Washington Street from temporary to B1 Community Business District, P1 Park Recreation and Open Space, NSW Non-Shoreland Wetland, and SW Shoreland Wetland Districts by Fleet Farm. The applicant is Mills Property Incorporated. The agent is Tom Carrico, also with Fleet Farm. Jim, do you have any additional information, or this is permanently zoning what we just recommended? to
Correct.
change
Yeah,
the
this is
zoning?
the actual zoning amendment that establishes all the various zoning districts. The only difference with this one is that the green areas are broken down into the dark green is the P1 and the lighter green is either the shoreline wetland or the non-shoreline wetland. And then the red itself is the permanent commercial B1 community business.
Got it. Thank you. Anyone from the public wishing to address this item?
I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Any questions or comments from the planning commission? Otherwise, we'd entertain a motion on rezoning.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? That motion carries. Again, under item 4, development proposals, item 4C, certified survey map and site plan, CSM-18-012, create 2 lots located at the southeast corner of County Highway Z and West Washington Street. Again, the applicant is Mills Properties Incorporated, and the agent is Tom Carrico, and again, a presentation by Jim.
Thank you. What I'd like to do is, since all of these next items are incorporated, I'll just give one brief for the entire project for the site plan, the certified survey map, and then the 2 conditional use permits. So the Fleet Farm Group has submitted these items for the development of the 70 acres. They're proposing a 190,050 square foot Fleet Farm store, along with a 7,165 square foot gas station convenience store with a 2-bay car wash. The proposal set tonight is for the 70 acres. We just reviewed the zoning amendment for the B1 along with the comprehensive plan change. The site plan proposal, get to that there. The proposal conforms to the B1 zoning district that was just approved, pending the council action on the final approval of that. The property itself will have 2 access points proposed right now to Washington Street, one on the east end and one on the west end. This access is pending a traffic impact analysis for that location and for the necessary improvements for the site and for the improvements on Washington Street. This is pending approval from the Department of Transportation, which has been submitted to them, also pending for the traffic impact analysis. The site itself will also have a public road access tentatively proposed for the eastern, which would be West Shepherd's Court, for that eastern driveway. The site development itself contains 613 standard parking stalls with 14 barrier-free stalls, and then the gas station itself has another 23 standard stalls and 2 barrier-frees. Pedestrian access has been provided through the site along that east edge, which would ultimately connect to the other side of Shepherd's Drive, which is being proposed. The site plan also identifies a 160-foot by 48-foot outdoor seasonal area located at the northeast corner of the of the site just north of the building. And as part of that, it would be a seasonal use with 2 Quonset huts for their outdoor sales. Sewer and water exists in Washington Street. The plans do identify them extending the sewer and water from those connections in Washington Street into the site, which would be private. This would also serve the lot, or I should say lot or future lots to the north, which are intended for future commercial outlets and future buildings. The plan also identifies private access easement, basically on that northern half of the site, on the 2 north-south legs off of Washington Street, and then that east-west leg connecting to provide a circular pattern for access. Stormwater management plan has been submitted and is currently being reviewed for the development. The site has been designed to generally drain to the north, where it's collected in various catch basins, and then the water is discharged to 4 stormwater ponds located throughout the site. The site lighting would consist of LED lighting on 33-foot tall poles. The poles do exceed the height requirements that we have, but given the size of the site and the need for the extra height, staff would not object to an exception for that pole height. The landscaping for the site has been provided, and staff finds that the landscaping is adequate in the landscape islands, a couple of planter beds along the building face, and then throughout the site on the perimeters. Architecturally, the building itself consists of an architectural metal panel on the upper portion and concrete masonry units on the lower portion. They're also providing some access metal steel panels accenting along the front entrance and by the tire center, and then a couple of areas within the main portion of the building just to break up the material types on that building. They're also looking at using a phenolic cladding, which is a wood-looking panel up near the front entrance where their main Fleet Farm symbol is proposed. The outdoor storage area will consist of a decorative fence on the north side of the face of the outdoor storage yard, and then along the west side of the storage yard, it will consist of chain link fence with vision slats to help screen the outdoor storage area for that storage yard. The site plan also identifies the various components of the sign package. The applicant is requesting some exceptions from the Plan Commission to vary the number of signs on the face of the building, along with the sizes of the signs, since they do exceed the overall, or they exceed the size of 200 square feet per sign, but overall, from the building square footage, it's under the 10%. So they are requesting an exception for those signs, and given the size of the building and the scale, staff wouldn't object to those exceptions for that. The site plan also identifies 3 ground signs. The developer is also requesting some exceptions for that. The one ground sign is located on the east driveway at the main entrance at Shepherd's Court. They're proposing a 200 square foot monument sign. 102 square feet of that alone is for an electronic message center. And then the other 98 square feet is for the actual sign for Fleet Farm itself. The other sign that they're requesting is 118 square feet at the west entrance. That one conforms to the size and the size requirements. And then a third sign is being proposed inside the site by the gas station, which would also be 118 square feet. The commission has the ability to allow for larger signage for the electronic messages. And again, that's if the commission feels that it's warranted for that. Staff does have concerns and would recommend that the actual ground signs along Washington Street do come back to Plan Commission once we do have the final analysis done for the traffic. So the traffic impact analysis may require the signs to change location due to the needed requirements for right-of-way or the vision triangles that we have out there. As a part of the development also, we are doing that certified survey map. The certified survey map is creating the two lots. Lot 1 is for the Fleet Farm parcel, and then Lot 2 itself is for the commercial parcel. This CSM also creates the right-of-way dedication for Shepherd's Court. Again, depending the traffic impact analysis, the CSM may have to change slightly to accommodate any need for additional right-of-ways, either for Washington Street or for the configuration of the driveways. Sorry. Along with that, the developer has also submitted 2 conditional use permits. The one conditional use permit is for the filling of wetlands. And those wetlands are located at the southwest corner of Lot 2 of where those future commercial lots are. And then also just to the west of the western driveway. Those wetland fills consist of a 0.4 acres on Lot 2 and 0.2 acres on Lot 1. Yes, 0.04, correct. Correct. These wetland fills don't require mitigation from the DNR, and they also have a DNR approval for those 2 wetland fills. They are in the process of getting their approval from the Army Corps of Engineering if they have jurisdiction over this. Public notices have been sent and mailed to the property owners within 200 feet, and we received no comments on the fill process for the wetlands. The final conditional use that we have is for the use of the gas station and for the secondary development of the convenience store. The convenience store is going to be 7,162 square feet. It will contain 16 fueling stations and then 1 kerosene station. The hours of operations for the convenience store itself would be Saturday through Sunday, 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. And the pumps themselves would be open 24 hours for pay at the pump. 6 new tanks will be installed on site for the gas station use, and monitoring will be 24 hours on site and remotely. Given the location of this site and the location of the gas station, staff felt that this was an appropriate location for this use. Again, all property owners within 200 feet were notified of the public notice for the conditional use, and staff received only general inquiries regarding this with no objections to the use. Staff would recommend approval of the various components of the site plan and the conditional use and the certified survey map with the conditions listed in our memo.
Thank you, Jim. Looks like we have 4 agenda items on this. So we'll break these up into individual action items. The first one is purely the certified survey map. It's not a public hearing, so I'd entertain a motion regarding certified survey map land divisions.
I'll move to approve the certified survey map revisions.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any questions or comments by staff regarding the CSM? Nope. Jed?
Just a quick question. So if DOT says it wants one of those driveways to go to Highway Z, then the CSM is going to have to come back for revision?
The CSM, yeah, we would have to revise the CSM, and then again, if they would require that, we would, depending where they're locating, if they locate on Highway Z, we may have to come back for conditional uses for the wetlands. The reason why they they were avoiding going to Highway Z was because of the wetlands, and then also the impact onto Highway Z for that traffic, and possibly even the need for lights at Highway Z.
The certified survey map, if I'm correct, may or may not have to come back because it's purely land division, but a site plan would certainly have to come back, right?
We would basically ask that if the alteration to the certified survey map for the results of the TIA is relatively minor, if it's a minor change in the right-of-way widths, an additional right-of-way width, or right-of-way dedication for West Drive, for example, that won't change the content of the site plan, won't change the configuration. We'd ask that you allow staff to adjust that CSM. The CSM with those dedications would have to go to council for approval anyway.
And is it contemplated now that there'll be, I guess the TIA is going to determine that, but are we assuming that it's controlled intersections?
We are assuming that the eastern one, the Shepherd's Drive extension, would be a controlled intersection. The western one would not necessarily.
And then any cost with that is borne by the Fleet Farm folks?
That is the discussion, and that would be a result of a developer's agreement that will have to be approved by City Council.
All right, good. Any other questions on the certified survey map? Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Get under item 4 is site plan SP-18-016, a site plan for a 190,050 square foot retail development and a 7,162 square foot gas station convenience store located at the southeast corner of County Highway Z and West Washington Street by Fleet Farm. Once again, the applicant is Mills Properties Incorporated and agent is Tom Carrico. Any other questions for Jim regarding the site plan? Chris?
Yeah, and I apologize if it's a novice question, but on the site plan, there's good, 4 retention ponds here. Is that normal? Is that because it's wetland, I'm guessing? Is that the reason why there's so many, it seems like, on the property?
Well, part of it is they have to do stormwater calculations on how much runoff they have and how much they have to contain and handle. I mean, we're dealing with, essentially 44 acres that's being, so it's all based off of calculations that they've done.
And then stemming off that, is there any other portions of this property that is potentially developable, or is that not the case because of the wetlands?
Yeah, how we have it set up for the, with the boundary agreement and the zoning, those 2 areas on the east and west side would not be developed since they're, open space and environmental areas.
Got it. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I have
Sarah?
a concern about the signage on the convenience store and car wash. I feel like the car wash sign is just too large for the space. And otherwise, I think the development looks great. I just would like to see that signage smaller. Jim, is that the only place where they are out of compliance? The car wash part? I know they're asking for an exception for the signage, right?
Yeah, they're asking for the exception on the signage for the car wash. They're asking for 3 signs on the building. The way our code reads is we allow 2 wall signs per building, one on a wall. But they're also asking for a slight increase on the signage on the, I believe it was the north and west walls. They were slightly over the 10% that we normally would allow for those wall faces.
And I don't know if Fleet Farm would adjust that. Would you be willing to take the car wash sign down so at least it's proportionate with the fuel sign?
Which sign, I guess?
I'm looking at the
Tom,
car.
would you mind just hopping up to the microphone? That's right. Say hi to your kids.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. No.
So as I see this, you have 1 car wash sign or 2?
I believe there's one on the front and then one on the back.
Okay, so the car wash signs seem excessively
Yeah,
large
so we could take the
compared to
one off the back, potentially.
Okay. And what about taking it down in size? Would you be comfortable taking it down to a size that would be more comparable with the fuel sign?
Yeah, I don't have the car
I-
wash.
Yeah, we don't have the car
unfortunately.
wash up there. I'm going to have Brian speak. Sure.
Yes, my name is Brian Haynes. I'm the architect for the project with Crabtree Rohrbaugh Associates. The signs actually are the same size. The text and the size of the logo is the same on both the fuel and the car wash, but just due to more letters, it looks larger. But the actual text size itself is the same size.
So would you be willing to take the car wash sign, the letters, down to a smaller size so that it looks more proportionate with the fuel?
I thought, are they not, they are the same size. So you're talking about just shrinking the size down?
Yeah.
I think what she's asking is that if,
Yeah.
if the fuel sign, let's say it's 10 feet wide.
Right.
And car wash, because it has more letters, is 15 feet wide,
Yeah,
will we
to take it
reduce
down
the
to
size
10?
to make it 10?
Yeah, we can do that, absolutely.
Thank you.
If that's,
I don't know
yeah.
how the commission feels about that, but to me, that just stands out as a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Can I just ask, is it a safety concern or is it just aesthetic?
Aesthetic.
Yeah.
And if we're looking to add more signs to the building, and now they're greatly proportioned, we've really held other businesses to those standards, so I feel like that would be fair to ask Fleet Farm to do the same.
So you're saying, for example, this is just an example, if the fuel is within a 10 by 15 area and car wash was 20 by 20, you'd like them both to be 10 by 15 or whatever the footprint of the fuel sign is.
That's as I understand it.
Great.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
That's fine.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Bernie?
I noticed the light bollards are about 2.5 spaces away, parking spaces away from the islands. Could you just tell me what the reason why you wouldn't have them in an island?
So say it again, the bollards?
Yeah, the light bollards are about 2.5 parking stalls away from an island.
Well, so we have the accessible stalls in the front of the store, and then the site lighting is right behind that. So they're, if we can pull up the site plan. Sorry, Jim.
Nope, not a problem.
I mean, that's because of the lighting survey that we've done, that's the most efficient place to put them. That's why we've.
You wouldn't want to put them in an island, though? You wouldn't want to move the island?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
You're saying both based on your photometrics, how the light
Yeah,
lays
it's how
out throughout
we
the
did the
site?
photometric study and
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
down lighting and everything else. That's the way it worked out, and that's gave us the maximum.
I just didn't know if you'd want to shift the island over to the light.
I don't know that that's possible, just because of the way we have the parking and the handicap accessible stalls there as well. I mean, it's pretty open in front. We do that on purpose to allow easy access.
Sure.
Speaking as a snow removal guy, I bet. That's what I thought. And a guy
It's all
who's
about
probably
perspective, right?
a guy who's probably bent a couple of snow plowing blades.
Yeah.
I had a question.
Sure, Jed.
The gated yard entrance,
Yes.
on the diagram, and it can be deceiving, it appears to be pretty close. Well, it's right across, let me go back. I've been having a lot of trouble getting, okay. The gated yard entrance is close to one of the north-south, a main north-south drive aisle, as well as the entrance into the convenience store and the car wash. Now, my experience at the current Fleet Farm, it's not uncommon to have a couple of cars at least stacked up because the guard gate, or the gate guard wants to look at your papers.
Sure.
Before you go in. Do you have enough room in there so that if you have a couple of cars that are at that gate, you're not blocking the east-west, that east-west drive aisle?
Front drive aisle? Yes, we do. We believe that we do. I mean, sorry. The guard hut, if you will, or the entrance is in the middle of that. There's a dashed line there.
Mhm.
That's an overhang. So it's in the middle of that overhang.
Okay. So it looks like you could have one car pull up and maybe what, at least one more
Yes.
waiting?
Yep. And the way we're doing it differently now as well. So when you, inside the store, which is really cool, by the way, if you could plug in the SKU number and it'll print out a ticket. You'll take that to the register, and then they will alert the guard hut that you're coming, so that it speeds up the operation, if you will. So,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Jed. Anybody else? Been waiting 20 years for this one. Or more. Then I would entertain a motion on the site plan.
Move to approve with the 10 staff contingencies and incorporating Sarah's requested change.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? That motion carries. Item 4D, conditional use permit, CU-18-004, a public hearing at 6:02 PM for a request for a conditional use permit to grade and fill .04 and .02 acres of wetland areas as identified by the Department of Natural Resources for the construction of a retail commercial development, including the installation of storm water facilities and driveway access located at the southeast corner of County Highway Z and West Washington Street by Fleet Farm. And again, the applicant is Mills Properties, and the agent is Tom Carrico.
Move to.
I entertain a motion on the item. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a public hearing. Anybody from the audience wishing to address this item, please feel free to step up to the mic.
Hi, my name is Tim Gill. I'm on Highway Z. I was just wondering on that western part of Highway Z or of the property where all the trees are you keeping the trees there? Are you clearing it out? Am I gonna have to look out my window at this property or am I gonna be blocked?
Tom, can you answer that? My assumption is you're leaving it as it is?
It will stay as is.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That answer your question, sir?
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else from the public wishing to address the item?
Move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? That motion carries.
Now, I beg your pardon, now I'll move for approval of the conditional use permit with the 4 conditions.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. And item 4E, last Fleet Farm item, is conditional use permit CU-18-005, a public hearing at 6:03 PM for a request for a conditional use permit to operate a gasoline service station, 18 fuel pumps on 9 pump islands on an approximate 70-acre parcel of land located at the southeast corner of County Highway Z and West Washington Street by Fleet Farm. And the agent is Mills Properties, and the applicant is Mills Properties, and agent is Tom Carrico. Anyone from the public wishing to address the gasoline filling station item?
Move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Anyone from the commission have a question? I'll entertain a motion on the item.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit with the 2 staff conditions.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations, Fleet Farm. We're looking forward to the traffic impact study. Hopefully, nothing changes for you folks. I'd say welcome to West Bend, even though you've been here a long time, but welcome back. Any idea on groundbreaking and occupancy? For the folks listening at home, looks like a hopeful October groundbreaking, and occupancy I would anticipate sometime in mid-2019-ish. Great, thanks again. We appreciate you guys choosing to do business in West Bend. It's going to be a good day for lots of folks to come on into your new store. Thanks again. Moving along, item 4F, site plan is SP-18-015, a site plan for a 22-unit multifamily adaptive reuse of the former school building and 3 6-unit townhome residential development located at 614 School Place by Barton School Apartments LLC. The applicant is Dave Ross from the West Bend Joint School District. Agents are Louis Lang from Barton School Apartments and Lucas Petrie from M&A Design. And a presentation by Jim Ranke.
Thank you. This is the redevelopment of the Barton School site at 614 School Place. Back in October 6th of 2015, the Plan Commission endorsed a concept plan for the redevelopment, which included the creation or the construction of 3 6-unit multifamily buildings, and then also the renovation of the existing school for 22 additional units within. This 6.8 acre lot is zoned M1, or RM1, multifamily residential. The site plan presented tonight is consistent with the zoning code for density, building setbacks, height, and lot coverage. The site plan identifies a screened refuse area just north of the building to service both the existing building and the 3 new buildings. Access to the site will be from School Place via a single driveway. The driveway that is on Fairview Drive will be closed off to prevent the use of that driveway for the development. 100 standard parking stalls and 5 barrier-free stalls are provided, and this meets the minimum requirements for the parking for this development. Pedestrian access has also been provided throughout the site from School Place and from Fairview. The site will be served by the existing sanitary sewer that runs through the property, and will serve the 3 new buildings along with the existing school building. And a new 8-inch water lateral will be installed throughout the site to serve both of these 2 developments. Stormwater management plan has been submitted and is under review. The grades have been designed to generally drain the site to the east to various catch basins, where the catch basins will then collect the water and disperse it to the stormwater pond that'll be located at the northeast corner of the site. Adequate landscaping is being provided throughout the site, both around the existing building and around the 3 new buildings and the garages. The architecture for the building will consist of the existing building will be cleaned up with the building materials repainted, windows glazed and replaced, and a few added. And the new buildings that are proposed, the 6-unit buildings, will consist of a harbor gray colored vinyl siding on the upper portion and an Everest color siding in the gables. A Nichia brick panel board will be used on the lower portions of the building, both on the buildings and on the garages. Typically under our multifamily buildings, we typically see some kind of masonry unit or brick bandings throughout. The developer is proposing an alternative material, which is a sedimentatious type panel that looks like a brick. Upon final review of the architectural plans, staff would recommend that alternate material, if it's acceptable by the Plan Commission, also be used by the entrance doors areas, just to help define those entrance areas, to define that. Staff would recommend approval of the site plan with 4 conditions that were listed in the staff memo.
Thank you, Jim. Are there any questions or comments from the council or from the commission for Jim?
You want to go?
Sarah?
Okay, I would really like to see actual masonry on the front of the buildings, not only along the lower band, but also on the doorway, as you suggested for the panels. I feel pretty strongly about this after thinking back to the conversation that we had with the people who live in the neighborhood when this initially came in front of the commission. We really promised we would keep an eye on the quality of and the aesthetics of those buildings. So I feel pretty strongly that masonry should be on the buildings.
Are there representatives here from Barton School Apartments? Good evening. If you just let us know your name and address.
Lucas Beecher from M&A Design. We can. We could probably accommodate putting that, but still keeping it a band around the.
I think it would be helpful if there was a band along the bottom as shown now, but then also something at the doorways, just to accent those doors as the staff had suggested.
Okay.
It's a yes, no problem?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Jim, maybe you can speak, or Mark can speak to the grades a little bit. It looks like the grades, the landscaping plan, the overall site plan, I think overall the developer did take into account some of the comments. It's an internal drive. The units are facing internal. It looks as though in general the units are quite a bit below Fairview Drive, and a pretty substantial amount of landscaping, street trees look to be planted along there to really create its own neighborhood here, I guess.
Yeah, the developer did listen to the Plan Commission's discussion from the previous concepts. They turned, the buildings are turned so that their long axis is east-west, so that it doesn't impact the view shed from the homes and along Fairview Drive. The grade is dropped. It drops there naturally, or existing right now, but they retained that grade so that the first floor is the garage entrance. The driveway portions are well below the Fairview Drive grade, and the view shed impact from the adjoining single-family and two-family units to the west is basically the equivalent of a second floor level.
That's what it looks like
on it as well. The historical building, they're going for historic designation on the existing school building, is retaining its current appearance. And they basically sheltered the standalone garages up against the hillsides on the southwest quadrant of the site. So the visual impact on those was pretty minimal.
Good. That was, I guess, thanks for taking that into account. Do you know generally a project schedule? What are you guys thinking?
Developer, I think, mentioned closing around the first of the year. So,
the 2019 project.
Yeah, and with winter conditions, the new construction wouldn't start. So luckily, they'd be able to start in the school portion of it.
Any other questions from the commission? Chris?
Just want to comment, I bit my tongue when it came to the Fleet Farm signage, but I really don't feel that it's our role to be telling you what to do as far as minute details of adding, masonry in certain spots. I just want to make that statement clear. That's not the city's job, but thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Anybody else?
That's part of the Plan Commission's job, Alderman.
I would entertain a motion on the item if we're to that point.
I'll move to approve with the changes in masonry.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations. Good luck. Hopefully it works out for you guys. Thanks for doing business in West Bend. Still under item 4 is item 4G, certified survey map and extraterritorial certified survey map. Item number 1 is CSM-18-010. Create one lot located at 2029 Hollow Circle by Robert and Christine Dwyer. The applicants are Robert and Christine Dwyer, and the agent is Richard Simon, and a presentation by Jim.
Thank you. The purpose of this certified survey map is to combine two existing lots into one. The property has been owned by the Dwyers for a while, and they're requesting the certified survey map to combine the two properties. Their home exists on the eastern lot, and then the western lot is vacant, which essentially has a playhouse on it and then is heavily landscaped. The lot also serves as their usable open space, along with an overflow route for the rear yard in this area. There's a hillside in the rear yard that comes down, and then it actually drains out to the west. There is an existing easement that runs along the south lot line for the public utilities or for electric. And there's also a utility that runs down the old previous lot line that needs to remain for the utility company also. Staff would recommend the approval of the certified survey map. The correction that we made, or under my recommendation for the property line being shown on the adjacent south, has been made and corrected. So staff would recommend approval of the CSM that we have as corrected.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions for Jim on this one? I would entertain a motion on the item.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations, Robert and Christine. Good luck. And lastly, under item 4G is 4G2, XCSM-18-011, create 2 lots for lands located on the south side of State Highway 33 and east of State Highway 144 in the town of West Bend by Jeffrey Spaeth, who is also the applicant, along with the agent Don Toma from Accurate Surveying, and a presentation by Jim.
The certified survey map is located approximately 3/4 of a mile just west of the city limits on Highway 33 on the south side of the road. The purpose of the CSM is to create 2 lots. Lot 1 contains multiple existing buildings and businesses, and Lot 2 is vacant and would be up for future sale. The Lot 1 is 10.27 acres, and again, has the existing businesses on there, and also has access to Highway 144 off to the west. Lot 2 is 2.02 acres and is vacant, and they have access off of a shared access easement off of lot number 2 to the east of them as a coordinated access point that was allowed by the Department of Transportation. Adequate right-of-way is provided for Washington Street, and the wetlands are identified on both the parcels. Staff would recommend approval of the certified survey map as presented.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions for Jim? I'll entertain a motion on the item.
Move for approval.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations to Jeffrey Smith. Good luck. Go get him. Be no further business before the Plan Commission. I adjourn. Have a great evening, everyone.
Greg, did you see the